Okay.
Okay, what is the value behind reenacting historical events?
Well, the value is to pass it on to history. And what I mean by that is I work at the aerospace company Boeing, and I was actually talking to a young engineer here a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned something to him about something that happened in World War II, and he had no idea what I was talking about. So, there's still a lot of folks around that fought in World War II, and it's the greatest generation. I mean, we just need to, it made America what it is today. So for me, the reenacting is just passing on to folks like yourself the historical aspect of what happened. Because, your grandparents probably fought in World War II or were involved in it somehow or another, whether it was in the defense industry or just doing the victory garden at home or scrap metal drives or something like that. And then, for America today, there's a lot of historical aspects to it because, there was companies that started, first ones that did the desegregation as far as work, black, white, Hispanic, it didn't matter. Man, women moved out of the house and into the workforce, during the 40s due to World War II. So there's just all kinds of historical aspects, and I just love history. So, but yeah, I collect this stuff and love it. So hopefully that gives you an answer. What else you had?
Okay, what is reenacting and living history?
Well, so you just, it's like being, it's like going to a movie. They're acting. I mean, you got a part to play, and in these units, you like over here, you have the 45th Infantry Thunderbirds. This other unit's the 1st Force Service Support Force. I think I said that right. This was actually my first event, so but yeah, it's just just passing on the knowledge and the history and how things worked, the equipment, like my gun here, how it worked and how it was used and who used it, so.
Why did you choose to reenact the World War II era instead of others?
So I do some of the others, a little bit of Civil War stuff and a little bit of the French and Indian colonial periods, with flintlocks and things like that. I've always liked World War II because when I was growing up, there were still a lot of people that were around that had fought in World War II. So you're always hearing the old fireside stories of what they did in Europe or the Pacific Theater. So it always drew my interest, and that's how I got here.
How do you know if you are hit during the battle?
Well, you just kind of decide you're going to be hit. So I've had some art issues in the past. So I really don't do the battle, but so like when we go do the Civil War stuff, my buddy, he goes out and does that, and he always plays on the Confederate side because there's always so few of those. So he always goes over there, and he's a big, tall guy, so you can spot him. And but anyhow, they just kind of say, okay, at the first volley, 10 of us are going to drop, and at the next volley, 15 more, and then so they just kind of make a decision before the battle.
What are some of the challenges of reenacting?
Well, the historical accuracy. More and more people are collecting World War II stuff, so pretty much everything I have here is all original. So just finding the original gear is getting harder and harder to find. Now there are some great companies out there that make some really, really good reproduction stuff, but like this gun here, there's plans out there where you can make a reproduction gun, but this is an actual real live, well, I don't want to say live because it's not a live gun, but it's a real World War II issue.
How did you decide to choose the impression you are reenacting today?
So I actually do, I got about 4 different impressions I do, and so these guys, I'm kind of independent. And since these guys let me set up with them, I just chose a basic, like armored infantry. And I choose this unit because we have, well, let me see if I say this right. My wife's grandfather fought with the 4th armored division in World War II, and he helped liberate a town called Nantes, France. And after the war, he moved back to Nantes, and he stayed in Nantes and remarried and lived there. So we actually have friends that live in Nantes, France, that we visit, a few times over the last 10 years. And so I wear the 4th Armor just to recognize my friends in France. So that's why.
And that's it.
Okay.